Hey there guys, TW2X here again with my next video on how to play Yasuo in the mid game. I'm going to be trying to keep these videos relevant throughout multiple patches, so I'm not going to be talking about item builds or specific mechanics that I believe will change, and I will instead be focusing more on general gameplay and macro tips that will last throughout item changes or patches that affect Yasuo. Alright guys, so before we begin, I just want to define a little bit what the mid game is for the context of this guide. The mid game is going to be when laning phase ends until players begin to reach an average of levels 15 to 18 and around 4 to 6 items. Yasuo Support playstyle is generally used when you are behind in the game or you have a fed carry that you need to be playing around. When you're playing this style of gameplay, remember to always be trying to peel for your carry in teamfights by focusing tanks, dropping wind walls when they are in danger or you need to block a CC ability for them, and generally going a fairly tanky build. For example, in patch 8.24 you can build a Blade of the Ring King to help you shred down tanks, or a Frozen Mallet to help you keep them off of your backline. You want to adopt the glass cannon style of play when you are snowballing or when the enemy team has priority targets that you need to get out of the fight quickly. When playing as a glass cannon, positioning is extremely important in order to make sure you don't get immediately blown up. This means staying back away from assassins or bruisers that can melt your health bar, and waiting for an opportune moment to engage, such as a multiple person knockup or an out of position enemy. Making sure your team is near you to follow up on plays before you go too deep is key to not throwing the game. You also need to be waiting for your 3 Q stacks or for a knockup champion like Malphite or Zac to knock up their backline so you can get an ult off. If you're extremely snowballed or confident in your skills and want to play as a glass cannon, you should be building a very damage heavy build, not really focusing on any tankiness, although this playstyle isn't recommended for inexperienced Yasuo players or for when you get behind. The Bruiser playstyle is when you build Bruiser items fairly early into your build. As of patch 8.24, this style of play is extremely good, picking up a Wit's End first against a heavy AP team comp, or a Sterax Gauge as your second item after Phantom Dancer into a high burst team comp. You can be extremely tanky while still putting out a fair amount of damage, although it won't be as much as if you went the glass cannon route. This playstyle trades off damage for survivability, making it good into assassin or bruiser champions that can quickly burst you, and in conjunction with your wind wall and your passive shield, it makes you a very durable frontliner, although it does make it harder to kill key enemies. When split pushing, you pretty much always want to be looking at the minimap to keep tabs on both your team and the enemy team's locations. You don't want to be overextending when your team has no pressure, and when you're split pushing, you want to be pushing the lane opposite to the current most important objective. So if it's pre 20 minutes and the dragon is up, you want to be drawing pressure towards the top side of the map, and if it's post 20 minutes and the Baron is up, you want to be drawing pressure towards the bottom side. You always have to be careful if you don't have teleport of them simply doing the objective 4v5 and you need to rotate and follow tips from the teamfighting section if your team can't keep them off the objective. You should also always be keeping your team informed of your split pushing through pings and typing to prevent them from taking a bad fight and potentially losing the game off of a Baron or an Elder Dragon. The Duelist style of split pushing is usually used when you're extremely far ahead and your team can win a 4v4 or contest an objective 4v5. You want to push to a tower in a side lane, dragging an enemy or preferably multiple enemies down to match you at their tower. When Yasuo gets ahead, you should be able to 1v1 pretty much anyone in the enemy team, even maybe getting a 1v2 in there. Just make sure that you leave if their team comes to reinforce the tower. The Wave Pusher is a playstyle you can use when you are behind from lane or you aren't confident in your team fighting ability. You want to go to a side lane where nobody is in and hard push the wave, leaving if somebody you cannot beat in a 1v1 comes to match you, and going to farm the jungle, group with your team, or farm another lane. When they leave, you can go back to that side lane and hard push the wave again, repeating the cycle until you catch back up in golden experience. Although you do need to be careful of getting ganked, so you need to run away if they are missing on the map or if you see them through a ward. All in all, Yasuo has a lot of different playstyles that can be played in many different ways. It takes a lot of time and experience to master them all. Every player plays Yasuo differently, and it simply takes playing many games to figure out which playstyle works best for you. Hopefully with these tips and guides you can speed up the learning process and improve your overall gameplay. Yeah, that pretty much wraps up this week's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, good luck climbing, and I'll see you again in the next video.